Welcome to Art Chats con la Mitotera. I'm your host, Mel Dominguez. Today's special guests are Anjelia and Sabrina. They're also known as Los Discos. So for those of you that do not know who Los Discos are, my God, they're, I wrote down as notes, I would be makers, doers, and shakers. They do a lot. So what I know them, they do their own clothing. So they have their own style, their own clothing, and they're what I think and consider them as curators. They curate events and what those events. So it's gonna be really fun, this interview. I can't wait till the little Wi-Fi works.
Hi.
Hey, oh my God.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
We're good.
How are you? I'm so sorry. Hey,
Turn it up,
I was introducing you both. Can you tell us all where you're from?
We're in Tucson. Yeah, both sides of Tucson. Yeah.
Oh, right on. This is so cool. I mean, I love it because y'all are local. I also was trying to explain like who you both are. Like I was describing you as curators, like you curate events. Can you tell us what you do out there?
Yeah. As of lately, we've been doing a lot of curation. We took over a dance night called Opti Club at Hotel Congress, which has actually been around since the 90s. And prior to us getting a hold of it, it was kind of just like local PBR, chain smoking, no meaning behind it. Nothing substantial other than just partying. But we tried to give it purpose by like having space and creating safe space. We've been partying downtown for a while now, and there's not a lot of representation, especially for Southside brown girls. So yeah. We immediately once we got Opti Club that we're gonna have to make it brown as fuck, and yeah, so we've been doing that for a while now. Yeah.
Every time I went to go experience it, I was like, "Holy hell, this is awesome! What you all put together." I felt so good. I mean, there was people taking pictures, and there was people getting tattoos, and then now you were getting a shirt done. I thought that was really cool, you know.
Yeah, no, they're a lot of fun. I feel like we do everything start to finish. I mean, we do our graphic design, we do all of our setup, all of our backdrops, everything. So yeah.
I heard you all make your own outfits. What are you wearing today?
Yeah, we make these fits. It's kind of like zoomed in, but they're little velour tracksuits.
See, these are the moments where quarantine sucks. You're like, we could have been partying right now.
Going on to them. You never know.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard a lot of things like people are actually reopening their shops and stuff like that. As a gallery owner, knowing that, I'm like, how am I gonna like sanitize my artwork? Like you wouldn't want to do that, you know. It's kind of sensitive. How has this whole thing affected you all doing what you do?
Yeah, so we're both employed at Hotel Congress prior to this, and as soon as it all happened, we both got laid off. So literally we got laid off on a Thursday, and then by Friday we pivoted and started making masks for the community and just distributing those and trying to making as much as possible. Yeah, really getting them out as quickly as we could. So yeah, from one day to another, we kind of just pivoted, cranking out masks. Yeah, which was we were really grateful that we had a skill that was able to pivot in that way, and yeah, we were able to contribute.
Have you taken account of how many of those masks you've actually made?
Yeah, we have. We have a spreadsheet, and we have done over 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say probably right now like 1,200, which is over like 7 weeks. It doesn't sound like a lot, but ours are like 3 layered, so it's like basically we're making 3 masks into one, so it's like a lot.
Well, I'm thinking about how many lives you all saved. You know what I mean? When they couldn't find any masks.
Providing some sort of protection, and especially when it first hit, the availability, there was none. Yeah. And especially to people out in the south side and stuff like that, and we were making them super Chicano, and so. And that was at a time where it wasn't even like the CDC wasn't even like recommending that to people. We were just, we know better.
That's what made it super amazing when we heard you all were creating them. We're like, oh my God, like this is the time, like right now, like everybody, whatever your talent is, like go do it and do it fast, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, I think it really showed I love seeing all of the creatives pivot and do what they can to, you know, make it all a little bit more bearable. And for us, it was really important for us to distribute the masks with people of color as priority. Yeah. So yeah, it was. I mean, it's been a lot of hard work. Both of us have early signs of arthritis in our hands because it's insane.
I think we're beyond early signs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, this is what I'm gonna look like at one point.
It's intense. Yeah. But our boyfriends are doing them, and we're just like making it's a family thing.
It's a family business.
It's our new family business.
That's what's up. It's needed. We need that sort of thing because this is what happens when the zombie apocalypse begins, right?
We have to take care of
Essentially, things separate. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? How do you all know each other? Like, when did you all start this getting together in Los Discos and like doing this? Like, when did you become Mr. and Mrs.?
Yeah, high school sweethearts.
So it's based off of a 10-year friendship. Yeah, we met at Sunnyside. We've been in love ever since.
It was love at first sight. We knew we wanted to do something. I feel like we're barely starting to like grasp onto like what exactly we want to be doing. But I mean, we've always known that we want to have meaning behind it and representation and accessibility and whatever we do, whether it's clothing or events.
Yeah, so we've been friends for about 10 years, and I think we've been in Los Discos for like about 8, which like goes to show how long it takes to develop an idea and come up with things that are feasible. And especially since we didn't have access to any like traditional education, we really had to grind hard as fuck to like get our names out there.
Trial and error.
We hit the downtown scene super late, so like we really, and that's actually how like us dressing and making our own outfits came to be. Just because we were kind of demanding that notoriety in the downtown area. Like, nobody knew who we were. We were just Southside girls. Like,
look at us.
Yeah, exactly. So just to demand the attention and the respect of people, we just, like, put ourselves up there heavy as fuck. And then, been riding ever since.
Riding.
But what inspires you out there? Like, I wrote a couple of these. I was like, Tejano Saris, the Leo versus Virgin. I like that one. Same fucked up attitude. No, the one that says New Year's, same fucked up attitude. I was like,
yes. All those looks, it's fun because as we curate our events, whatever theme, we're able to create a matching outfit that kind of is cohesive with that theme. So whether it be fucking Tejano fits or
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like whatever it is, we adapt and make a fit. It's fun. It adds an intensity to the.
It's intense.
Yeah, to
we
getting
like to add as much stress as
degree
possible.
of difficulty as possible. Yeah.
No, I believe it, but I love it because you're right. You know, coming in from East LA to Tucson, I was looking for something that I could relate to, and there was some spots, but then they just shut down. I'm like, poof, and then there was nothing. So the fact that there was something geared so that I could actually feel like, I can relate to this. I was like, damn. So that's what I was thinking about.
Too. I mean, you created your own space and opened that up to people.
Which, that's our goal, is pushing more towards brown business and
pushing more up north.
Much south?
North.
Oh.
We want to go everywhere. We want to spread out everywhere.
Well, that's why it was really important. The moment we got a hold of Opti Club, we knew we had to make it super Chicano, super Southside, because that's not really seen in the downtown area. I think a lot of people have an idea of what South Tucson is downtown, but you don't see it reflected. Like, it's all really bougie Mexicano style stuff, but like, no, like, we're hood, and it was really important for us to bring that over there, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like about it too, because where my space is at, I was taking a bird's eye view and saying, oh my God, this can be beautiful. Like, and then now quarantine. So can I ask, like, what you've been up to during this quarantine? And I see that you're not 6 feet apart.
Yeah, so
we've been quarantined from day one together. It's her and I.
Yeah. We've been locked up together, which is how we were able to get so many masks out there to people. We've been inseparable. We've been quarantined together since we've met. So, like, there was no way. But we've been making masks. We've been doing a lot of community outreach, staying involved as much as we can with the different projects around town, which is a lot of stuff going on right now. I think a lot of people are hitting it really hard. I think a lot of people want to see reform right now. So all of those things are just been on our forefront. We've been really working diligently on trying to figure out where we're headed and how we're going to come out of this in a better place. The things that were before holding us back and what we didn't like about how we were moving. We're reflecting on all of those things, seeing how we can change it. Because when it's now, I think you make decisions based on those situations that you can't always, you can't always pick and choose your battles type deal. So now that we actually have the time to process and plan and be a little bit more strategic about what we're doing.
I know there's two things. There's more than two things to that. One, I wish I would have invested in toilet paper. I would have been making mad money right now. And then two, now this is like the second version. It's to me, it's worst version of the recession. But that changed a lot of people's outlook too. They went from brick and mortar to, lunch trucks. Forget the restaurants, Stilo. We're gonna go lunch trucks. So this is not the now strategy, like you were saying. Like, how can we ever keep up if this downward spiral keeps happening to the people that are essential? You know what I mean? So, but this is the opportunity. Is we have this space right here, that internet space, the new satellite that's up there. How do you all feel about that? Like, do you think will you return to doing things like working like to create space for others to come together? And how soon do you feel like it will happen?
Well, obviously right now we're urging our families, our community to stay home, not to listen to the government right now. We really got to protect our people, stay quarantined until we know we're safe and secure. So I think in that time, obviously we can't see the future. So as soon as shit's back to normal, we're going to hit it hard as hell. But for now, we're just thinking of different ways that we can apply ourselves to our community. Just earlier, I was having conversations with our homegirl Drayla, talking about how we're going to fix the housing crisis that's happening in our community right now, and brainstorming different ideas on how we can get all of our vacant hotels in on it, and how we can house some of our homies. And yeah, I think we're just pivoting our priorities and trying to shape up the community for what it is right now. Because as this crisis hit, more problems arise, different problems, and so we need to come up with different solutions. So yeah, I think until further notice, we're definitely not throwing any parties, but we've enjoyed online shit and we've done a lot of parties.
We're working on a party right now.
Yeah. We're gonna do a party this Saturday with all of our friends, and
Roberto, shout out.
Yeah, Roberto.
I wanna go.
All the homies staying connected, partying. We're still doing Opti Club. We're trying to do what we can with it.
Keep artists.
Yeah, keep artists getting paid.
Recognition.
There's a great organization that's funding Opti Club right now, so we've been able to get some paid artists, some DJ gigs for folks. Cracking a cold one. And,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I like about this? Is the fact that, like, if you go to the Los Discos Instagram page, you're like, you could see, like, party, like, events and stuff. But what you just talked about was so deep. The fact that that's true. Right now, all those developers, the past couple of years, within 4 years, we have, like how many, like, apartment loft buildings that I'm like, who affords this, And the fact that you're touching base on that, that's really deep, because you really have to think and take it all in, and it's super. That's a deep one. I think what's her name? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was talking about a little bit about that, housing the people that need housing, and about landlords and whatnot. This is the time that this is for all of us to start listening and talking and discussing. I hope that we can find, seriously, what's logical, what's with compassion, if we're thinking about humanity versus money,
Yeah.
So
right now too, a lot of the gentrified spots, we can really stronghold those businesses to hold up their end.
Corner them.
Yeah, corner them.
Cornering
yeah,
them, right?
well, that's where you gotta move sometimes, because they kind of took over our spaces, and now it's time to reclaim it. And you can either play ball and get on board and help the community, or really show your true colors. And that's yeah, businesses are really, you're either with it or you're not. And I think that's been a really important thing for us to observe, how different businesses are moving right now, too.
And who we're going to actually support and
on the other side of these things. So yeah, I think as far as housing situations, and I think we just have to hold all the local businesses accountable, especially in the gentrified areas, because it's come on, you're already invading space. You got to contribute and, do what you can to give back. So yeah, definitely going to be on the forefront of that and pressuring businesses to step up.
People.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I was about to ask you what you felt about the future, but that kind of sounds like where you're going with this, is to really bring all the knowledge just to everybody and be like, hey, let's do this, let's make change. Because right now is the time when it involves money and the prediction of how much money is going to be made with stockbrokers, it gets a little sketchy on me. But we can always take over the state, right?
Yeah, no, but seriously, we have the numbers. We could do that shit. Take it over. Our money. I think right now everything is in a transitional process, and I see a lot of cultural reform going on right now too. And I just hope at the end of this we can all unify, because I know our capabilities now are transparent as ever. We're all doing what we need to be doing, and unified, we can reform all of it.
This is gonna be big, man. So there were some other notes. I was like talking about you all being like, makers, doers, shifting the dynamic. But what is it out there that you want to share with us that we might not know? Like, is there something else? Like, am I missing something?
I mean, I think for us, something that we've been talking about a lot as far as where we see us going is kind of just outreach and education. We really want to continue to educate the community, and our struggle and our come up as far as like getting our names out there, like demanding, white businesses to participate with what we're doing. It was hard, and we faced a lot of hardships, and something that I think isn't often explained in business is the brown side of business, because it's a lot different, and you have the strategies you have to go about.
In order to be successful, you have to go through so many
different manipulations, and it's a whole different side of business that we just want to be able to offer back to the community, along with other skill trade. I think we talk about a lot of skill trade, and whether it be sewing or graphic design or just access to all those resources to make artists successful. I think something in our community that's always been lacking is that we push people to be artists, but we're not really giving them any opportunities or creating opportunities to actually make that a feasible lifestyle for people.
Other than
university, which is
it's time to claim that stake.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's time to claim the stake. Like, instead of other people telling us who's valuable, it's like, wait a minute, there's some very invaluable artists here in town that we should be highlighting and taking care of and supporting, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like that's what that's
where we're headed. Yeah. We definitely want to be on the forefront, like we said, like a cultural revolution, and bringing more brown businesses to the forefront of all that, and just also making sure we're recycling our money into other brown businesses. It sucks that we always have to go to these white-owned businesses and spend our hard-earned dollars. I'm constantly saying a brown dollar doesn't equal a white dollar. We work harder for our money, so exactly. So I want to be spending it at places that I know it's getting recycled back into my people. So all those things are really on top of mind. Even when we throw our events, I mean, sure, they're partying, but it really is empowering, and it shows the resilience of who we are. And I think it's just so loud and unapologetic that I feel like those standpoints in downtown Tucson really make staples. It's not just another Friday night. It's like, no, this is a Thursday night where brown people are mobbing the downtown scene, and we're going to be loud, and we're going to be in your face about it, and like, you can't really say nothing, because this is our space.
And I use that language a lot. You're gonna get it. Shoot. No, but it's social equity. It's social equity. That's the exact reason why I decided to open the Galeria in South Tucson. It was for that reason. I want to take up space, and then I want to, open it up for others to use that space, to give it back to that community, and so everything was working out very nicely. We had this little momentum going, dope ass event, and you both were next on the line. We were like, we're gonna have a party with Los Discos now. Did you have anything planned for that, like for getting us together?
I mean, I think that space. I think we'll maybe hold on to our ideas so it gets a little closer to execution, but I feel like that space alone, and being in
there's so much we've already
we envision so much for
that. As a matter of fact, Mel, after this we're gonna have a private.
We need a little. But I mean, we love that space so much, and I think the fact that it's in South 6 is something that we've been wanting to aim for more and more, and leave the downtown scene, but still hold on to that audience and push them further and further
north. I mean, we want to push people south, but we also want to reclaim that space up north. Is what I meant by that.
Let's do it. Yeah. You know what? Being a business owner, it allowed me to come at the table with other businesses in South Tucson, and a lot of the talk was what we wanted to do was bring more businesses in, more brown business, but then to also have parades and put banners up on the light posts from our local artists and stuff. So we were in that direction. We was all motioning towards that way. We've had some really awesome people out there and planet Earth contribute to Galeria Mitotera. So we're hanging on as far as we can. But this is something that I want to continue to collaborate with you both, because that's the main thing right now is you're living through history. This is history that no one's ever stepped into. This is like the next newest frontier. And then just to really like how you all were saying, like claiming a stake, like let's what's the words do you use? Revitalize, reinvest. What do you call it? What do you call it?
Reclaim space, yeah, all of it. And after, I mean, even when you look back in history, anytime there's sort of national disasters or anything like that, there's always that cultural revolution that comes out of it. And yeah, it's exactly, we're going to show that resilience in this opportunity also, I think. Yeah, we're excited, we're motivated. And even last night when we were working on these outfits, we're already just, talking ideas and how we want to keep moving forward. And it never stops. The wheels are always turning. And right now, I think this is another thing we were talking about earlier about how I feel like the internet's really muddy right now, and there's so much going on, and I think it's a good time to hit the ground floor, strip it all back. But it's true, and we want to start, putting knowledge out on the south side. We're doing that with the mask. We're no longer offering them through Instagram, but we're going to be tabled up either on the tribe or out there by Sunnyside, which is our hood where we grew up in, just to make it more accessible. And not everyone is on Instagram. Yeah, not everyone has access to those things. So just trying to think about how we're going to make it more accessible to all of our people. And I think that's something that we kind of miss when we're so consumed by the downtown scene, is we're also connected digitally, but there's a whole other audience that needs to be reached out to. So like merging those bridges and trying to bridge those gaps is what we're supposed to.
So when you all come up with ideas like this, how does it happen? Like, does somebody write it down?
It's
do you all
usually all-nighters. Towards the beginning of the Los Discos and what we were bringing it, we would always come up with cool ideas and then write them down. And so then we started writing them down. So Sabrina has a bunch of notes in her phone of just, we got the archives. Yeah, the old notes of just crazy ideas that we've always wanted to execute. And most of the party ideas that we started with Opti were 5 years in the making. While we were working at Cold Stone, we'd just be pinballing ideas. Yeah. We both worked at an ice cream shop together for many years. So just always. I mean, we're like dreamers. We are always talking about disco no matter what. Like, it's all we actually have nothing else in common.
Well, you were tapping into the artists that everybody has within themselves, and that's dreaming. Yeah. Because you totally have to imagine that whole landscape, and that kind of stuff. Having regular jobs like that, that's what inspired mine. But I was daydreaming like you all. I used to be an elevator operator. Yeah. Oh my God. Damn. So I had time to sketch and wait for stuff, But it's funny. Here's another funny question. How much clothes do you guys have? Like, because I know, like, if you actually make your clothes, do you have like a lot of clothes?
Well, we have rooms. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of disgusting how much clothes we have. Most 90% of it is thrifted, recycled. I mean, we have one pair of shoes that we spray paint for every single outfit to match every outfit. So we try to be smart. I mean, we never shop retail. I think fast fashion is really important to stay sustainable. I mean, all this work that we're putting in means nothing if we don't have land to, proceed on. So we try to be as sustainable as possible. But we thrift fabric, we thrift vintage. We have all sorts of disco archives that we need to clean out. But I love seeing all of our outfits lined up and all the looks and how far we've come. How far we've come from our first outfits, which were janky as hell. And
oh my God.
We're starting to be, our skill level has definitely increased, which is something that we want to pass on and something that we want to do with the gallery is do sewing classes, because that would be dope. That's like machines that we have. Hand-me-down machines that we have.
Well, that was one of my questions. How did you all learn how to sew?
Completely self-taught. My mom used to sew a lot, and I would just watch her, but we didn't start sewing until we met, pretty much. I think it was just it's funny because me and Sabrina are very similar and very different, but we share the same insecurities as far as like how we want our outfits to reflect our bodies and how we want to look, and you know what's hot and what's not. And so I think that's what kind of started us making clothes. Also, is just
wanting, and because we also have to match.
Yeah.
So we have to make our own clothes.
Yeah. So
that's pretty. I mean, if you see me though, it does not look the way that your all outfits come out. Like,
it's honestly a simple craft that I feel like anyone can master.
If you put the time into it.
Yeah, it's really, it's all, yeah. So we really want to do some skill trade and do some sewing classes, a Selena knife, we could do a Selena outfit. I feel like that'd be really dope, a Tejano fit, all stuff that, we definitely.
You know, I'd be honored to have you all do that there, and that's like a blessing. That's the very reason why we opened the shop. Yeah. It's because we wanted to be able to say, yes, let's do this to you, like to folks. You know what I'm saying? But there's something else too, like, because I'm just throwing them out there. But is there's like a twist to the body positive stuff?
Well, I'm like whether or not we
body positive stuff.
Like, what do you feel about that? Because I'm slow over here. Melissa's always giving me.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, something that I feel like early on and when we started is the fact that we can be nudist, we can be sexual, we can be super professional, and you're still gonna give us the same respect. Like, if the respect is something you demand either way. And I think especially when we were younger, and I mean, we hit downtown with our fake IDs when we were 18, and we just thought we were, hot shit, and we didn't care, we didn't have as many insecurities as we do now, so we would just put ourselves out there so openly, and then, as the world gets to you, you start to dwindle back. But I think it's important for us always to, because, I mean, being a respectable businesswoman and being sexy and, like, being sex positive, those are all things that are not commonly put together, I think. And even working at Hotel Congress, I think that they try to censor us a lot. And no, like, it makes us go harder. It makes us get more naked. It makes us get more crazy.
Show up to every employee party naked.
Yeah, as naked as possible. But then show up the next morning in a suit and tie and, like, hey, like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, that was just really important for us to continue to demand respect from people. As women, too, it's hard. It's really hard. So all those things for us were just tools as far as, again, like how we navigated it through our
manipulation.
That was the route we decided to take as far as business.
That's
skills, nudity.
Right. I'm sorry, but I had to ask. I was trying to think of things that I wanted to talk to you all about, and I started to bring out some of the, because this is before Instagram and the internet, because I'm that old. You know what I'm saying? I had to actually go and get a physical magazine, be like, damn, look at this fashion and whatnot. It's blown Instagram. I mean, I got magazines that are like this big. They're almost like 2 feet big. The V magazines, have you ever seen those?
Which ones are they?
They're called V magazine.
V magazine? Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, I have a bunch of them. And it was pretty much my version of doing like reconnaissance in the graphic, design and how they put this magazine together. So I have like Oyster magazine, Complex, you name it. I got
everything. Yeah, totally.
Who do you guys, did you look at some, like, another artist and you were like, I'm gonna show them what I got? Like, who fired you up?
We find inspiration in so many local artists too. Like, I feel like we have to show love to local artists, of course, too. But I mean,
and honestly, just our hood is inspirational as fuck. Like, most of our fits are swap meet inspired. We get all of our jewelry and our accessories from 99-cent stores, swap meet. So all those are huge inspirations, because that's like the part of Chicano culture that was looked at as super ghetto, but now is super poppin', and so we get to tap into that and be like, yeah, this is our shit, like, we made this shit, and we literally actually made this shit. So yeah, and then, I mean, as far as like our graphic design and stuff like that, we were really into vintage stuff, thrifting all the time. The Los Discos is really inspired from like Tejano, like Los Tazones, Los Freddy's, all that sort of era stuff. So I feel like we reflect a lot of that in our graphic design stuff that we do. And yeah, I mean,
you know why I asked that?
They are doing amazing shit as far as fashion and stuff like that. So there's inspiration everywhere, and yeah, we get it from everyone.
Yeah. Do you know why I asked you that question?
Why?
Because I think that all the pictures that are on your Instagram and everything, like, that could be its own magazine stuff, like its own like little story in there. Are you all thinking of doing something like that? Because I'm Melissa can attest to this. I'm a collector of many things, and one of them is she's like, but I collect magazines. You know, I got small magazines, I got the big magazine, and it goes across the board. I got surfing, everything. But the kind of work that you're all putting together, it's in this time frame. It belongs to you. You both are the individuals in the pictures and things like this. So this could be all you. Is that something you're considering of doing?
Well, we haven't. I mean, we haven't gone as far as thinking of. Well, we've had a few ideas as far as publication goes, but I think the idea that has really floated around that we've never really been able to execute or never had the time to actually do is distributing our clothes and selling our own clothes that we make. And the face mask was kind of like an introductory to like how it would be running a business and distributing to other people. Because as of yet, we've only made clothes as a tool to pair with, you know, all of our curations and stuff like that. So we've been, you know, playing with the idea of how we're gonna finally have a line and be able to have people in our community wearing our stuff and making stuff that are, you know, all plus sizes, completely custom, you know, different things like that, what we can bring to that world as far as fashion. I mean, we definitely are against fast fashion, so being a player in that field would be really dope for us, I think. But I mean, we love our looks. We just printed our last look. This is the first print we probably ever got of like any of the outfits we ever took, and we were really proud of.
We're actually thinking about handing out little wallet sizes. We wanted to sign them and then
really
mailboxes.
Yeah, we really love those, but we printed out the ones. Have them both hanging in our Disco rooms as inspiration. And
I love that. I love that because that's what people are craving right now is the experience. And they get to share in that experience that you all are having fun as being friends, doing fashion, thinking about the community and where the community is going forward. Like a lot of artists don't think that way. So I thank you for being who you both are. Like, that you're actually thinking about the community.
Yeah, we're one and the same.
Oh, do you make a custom photo booths for each event as well?
Yeah, every single one. I'm telling you, there's some long nights to everyone at my party. I have these all over my floor, like from overspray that had leaked through the backdrop. So and everything's a week, man.
All over our house.
You walk into the house, there's glitter, spray paint. It's like a mess. So yeah, we do all of these. Roman helps out too. Yeah. He helps with a lot of this stuff. And for the Valentine's one, we made this heart thing. We've made all sorts of shit, crafty bullshit that like. No one else has time for, but somehow we make time for.
No, we don't have time though. That's the thing.
For some reason, I think those are always big priorities for us. Like it's just like
right?
that. Really,
not show up to my own event than not have.
Yeah, like it's a whole. We want all of it. We want to make it all happen, and sometimes it feels impossible, but somehow we always manage to get it done. It's always worth it.
Because that's when you know you love what you do.
We do.
Oh,
that's when you know you love
it. The amount of sleepless nights. And then you have to party on top of it. You have to prepare it all. And then you get there and have to party all night and then work the next day. It's a whole. We're enjoying the time that we have off right now.
Well, I'm hoping that you know that when we get together that we're gonna have to come up with a whole parade going down South Forest. Oh, that's the dream for me.
All the way to the San Javier.
Let's do it. Sweet. How awesome would that be? You know, there's so many people doing things right now to just get together. That's one of the main things I want to do is like, man, I want to have a parade or something like.
I love that.
You know, I can't believe how much I miss people, you know, and just even the stupidest things. But what are you both missing right now from all this quarantine? What's the one thing you miss?
We miss our friends, yeah,
and our families.
And our families, yeah. We haven't been able to see our parents for Mother's Day. We did a very self-distanced
visit, drop off thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer and it sucks because we get so much inspiration from the livelihood of our community that we've had to really dig deep and kind of figure out new ways to get inspired. And of course, we miss partying. I miss going to live shows. I miss bands. I miss all of it. I miss the tambo. I miss dancing. I mean, that was a big part of our lives. And I mean, we've been partying since fucking 8. Like, you know what I mean? We've been partying forever, so not having that available.
But it's also been nice too, like just having a little bit of
a little lull.
Yeah.
Not just staying sober or treating ourselves any nicer.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a recharge for everybody to get back and like kind of strategize. How are we really thinking about things? Do the way that the city's set up and what we can do to take it back, to give back to the community.
and create more social equity. We've adopted a park behind my house, so that's just one, like a small thing that we're doing, but we're hoping that during this time that maybe we can encourage more folks to get out there and really think about how they can do something for the community that changes it for the better. So there'll be water harvest, because I mean, look where we're at now. This is like everything's at the table, and I feel like we left a lot on the table for the young people to take care of.
Yeah.
And to try to fix. You're like, wow, because there's no right answer for one thing, but this is the deepest. Oh, excuse me, I got a input here. Oh, this would be cool. Oh, you did. Melissa's mentioning that you actually put together a garden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Roman, yeah. Me and Roman have been shacked up and working on that yard day and night. It is so much work, but all of our seeds, yeah, our corn, our maize is doing so good. We have onions, we have radishes, red chard, weed. We got marijuana plants growing that are really healthy. Yeah, our my yerba buena is growing crazy. I harvested some from my mom, so it's wild mint, and it's doing. Yeah, we've been working in that yard a lot, which is something that we didn't have time for before. You know, being our lives are so busy that like we never have time for stuff like that, but something we dream about for a while. And also with all the talk of food shortages and, you know, and the uncertainty of the future, it was just really important for us to like, all right, what are we going to do to make our future, you know, look a little bit more self-sustainable? And we jumped on that right away. And Logan from El Tambo was a huge help. He donated a irrigation system to us, his old one. So our setup's pretty dope. Yeah, it's tight.
That is so cool. That's what, you know what, that's something that I hope, that should be contagious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it is. I see a lot of people gardening, especially out on the tribe. There's so many families that I never see out that are actually getting out there doing yard work, and it's hot as hell too. So, you know, it's hard work.
I feel like a lot of people are contributing their skills and what they have.
Yeah, I mean, we got Sally gave us some seeds that she had laying around the house. So we just, you know, we got so much. Logan donated seeds to us. Like I said, we harvested some clippings from my family and stuff like that. So it was a community effort. And now we have a little garden in the back. And we're talking about chicken coops. And I used to have a pig, so I want to get a pig again. Just, you know, the whole night. Yeah.
Right? No, that's awesome. That's a lot of work, taking care of animals. No, it's a lot of work taking care of animals, but see, all of that makes for a great story. Just everything, just because that's what it's all about. Is like human beings, we only have this amount of time with each other. You know, we're only allotted, you know, maybe 90 years. You know, if we're lucky. And now that they've shortchanged the youth, I'm hoping that everybody like can get out of this and survives, and that this is the kind of knowledge that they come back with. And that is a mentorship, because there's been such bad mentorship in the administration. So to see folks, real community members that they can relate to, and that they know that are out there, that we can all do this together. That's what's huge about knowing you all. Like I thought I was just gonna be partying Los Discos. Like, yeah, but man, I'm learning.
That's the resilience. That's what our culture is. You know, partying is a huge aspect. Yeah. But bringing it back home always, and yeah, staying an available resource. And a big part of our parties is getting brown artists paid. Yeah. We never book anybody that's not brown, you know, or, you know, a person of color of any sort, you know, bringing money into our communities, staying available, which is something that we're trying to stay on top of, as far as like being a resource to anybody.
She does a lot of graphic design for people too.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's gonna help. I mean, if you need a graphic design to help your business flourish, sure. I have some skills. I have the available resources. Why not? Let's collaborate.
Opinion.
I have an opinion to offer. You need help finding hotlines. You know, anything like that. I feel like that's just knowledge that we can pass on to each other back and forth. And yeah, solution, like problem solve together. Yeah. You know, you combine all resources together, and you're set.
See, that's what's awesome, because Melissa actually takes these interviews and she goes back and she puts in like how can they find you and pictures and whatnot. But a lot is taken from the language that is used in the interview. So everything you just said, those are nice hot buttons that this little satellite's getting programmed to. So thank you very much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love it.
Hell yeah. Oh, but because I said that, how do people find you? How do they support you? Yeah, tell them everything.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're running off a separate account. So Miss Lady Disco, Mr. Dot Disco. Those are both our handles. Our DMs are always open. My phone number is listed on my Instagram, so anybody at any time can get a hold of me if you need to, if you need something. Yeah, I mean, we're still, like I said, we're doing masks as far as distributing in our hoods, but if anybody needs a mask, if you're going back to work and you don't have protection, hit us up. We still have quite a bit of supplies left, so we can definitely crank you out a mask. And yeah, just staying available. I think that's something that we can all contribute. Staying productive, staying resilient, staying powerful.
Stay inside.
Staying inside.
I know it's hot out there. It's sad. I'm like, I actually hang out on my roof, and so it's been fun.
Seeing your photos from up there, that's dope.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, except for when I was up there, I saw a UFO, and I was like, okay, I gotta go inside. And I was like, dang, but you know what?
Up there.
I know it's getting. I mean, it's at the same time we've witnessed a lot of migrating birds, and the way they sing in the morning, they're totally taking over the planet right now. I'm like, damn, but it's nice.
We have a whole nest in our they poked holes in our whatever attic. We have a bunch of nests, so yeah, the singing birds enjoyable, but yeah,
right. At the crack of dawn, they're weep, and you're like, why? I don't have to go nowhere, you know. But I mean, this has been so awesome. I'm not sure. I mean, is there anything else you want to say? How about this for the young people out there who didn't get a chance to go out and experience the world before quarantine? Is there anything you want to share with them? I mean, you told us a lot, but is there something out there that you wanted to share with everybody?
I mean, I think right now, like we said before, we're doing a lot of skill trade, reaching out to other people. One of our homies
eventually do
more classes,
all ages.
Brittany and Zyra, they did a skill trade on our Octi Club where they were talking about housing issues, if you're being evicted, and how to deal with that. So I think just spreading knowledge. If you have knowledge to share it with others. That's how we came
Share
up.
with your parents.
Yeah. Keep your parents
Check their asses.
But the come up of los discos is observing how other artists move in our community and sharing that knowledge with others. I think if you're sitting on any knowledge at all, share it. Whether it be sewing, whether it be gardening, whatever you have, offer it to your community because it helps and people are listening and people are receptive to it and it's inspiring. I think when people see other people moving and staying motivated, it motivates them.
We're still learning too, so as we learn, we want to continue to share. I mean, we're still working on ourselves as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always trying to educate ourselves. That's literally how we've made it this far. So anything you
That's
have,
beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm like, damn, this is so great. I know, I'm like, no, this is really powerful. I really thank you all for that. But you know what else? I mean, that's one of the reasons why we named it Galeria Mitotera, was because when we know something, we're going to share that information, you know, and be part of that network, you know. So with that, ladies, I want to thank you for being on you know, TikTok. I know, right?
That you're our peak. That's our peak.
Then I'm
right
what?
there.
What we're working up towards. We just progress in downtown. That's small town. Galeria Mitotera, that's big time. We're gonna be ready. We're gonna be so ready. Yeah, I mean, what you're doing is contribute. Like, you're a big contribution as far as having us all stay connected, finding other artists. I feel like through your gallery, I've met and connected with so many other people.
Stories.
Whether it be going to the art shows, Sally's event, we've connected with so many different people, connecting with you, just, you know, bridging those gaps. And so it's definitely been a fundamental part of South Tucson. Like, you're doing it now. We love it.
Well, thank you. That's why I did it, because I mean, you can't just be a witness, right? You got to make things happen.
Hell yeah, be a player. You're doing it. Play a player.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you all. See you soon.
Bye. Thank you
Bye,
all for
everybody.
watching.
Thank you, girls.